All right, this is review video number 4, polynomial operations. This is the final review video for Unit 1. So we've got a couple problems here on our screen. You'll notice I have 2 of them in bold. I want to do those 2 first because I want to point out that they look almost identical. So when you are doing polynomial operations, make sure you really watch out for that plus, because it makes me so sad when I know and a student knows how to add, but they forget that plus symbol is there and they multiply it together and they do all this extra work. So just really watch out and take a minute to notice whether whether each problem is asking you to add the 2 polynomials together or multiply them like the one below. So when you're adding, you're just combining like terms. So if I have an x plus 8 and I'm adding a 3x minus 11, I think about the total number of x's, and that would give me a total of 4. And then I can think in this case about my constants. I have an 8 and a negative 11, so that adds up to negative 3. So this would be my answer on A. The one below it, D, the same 2 polynomials, but this time we are multiplying them. So we need to distribute. We're going to start by distributing our x. That will give me a 3x squared and a negative 11x. And now I'm going to distribute the 8. So 8 times 3x is 24x. And 8 times 11, negative 11, is negative 88. So I have a couple of like terms that I need to combine. Just like when I'm adding, I combine terms. I need to combine those 2 terms. So my final answer would be 3x squared. Negative 11 plus 24 is positive 13x and negative 88 at the end. So just watch out for whether your problems are like the first one, you're adding or subtracting, or whether you've got to be multiplying and distributing like the one on the bottom. All right, so number B right here is an adding problem. So we just need to combine like terms. I notice that I've got a couple of x squared terms that I combine. So, and watch out for those coefficients of 1. So this would be 8x squared. I've got a 2x and a negative 2x. So that does add up to 0x. So in your final answer, you don't need to write that, though if you do write it, it would not be incorrect. And then our last constants that we need to combine, negative 5 and positive 3, add together to give us a negative 2. So my answer would be 8x squared minus 2. All right, let's go to C. So C is a multiplying problem. When those polynomials are right next to each other, those binomials are right next to each other, we multiply them. So x times 4x gives me 4x squared. X times negative 6 gives me negative 6x. 3 times 4x gives me 12x. And 3 times negative 6 gives me negative 18. So we do have some terms that can be combined right here. So then our final answer would be 4x squared. Negative 6x plus 12x gives me 6x. Oh, my x and my 6 like merged together. 6x. And then my negative 18 at the end. Okay, E is one that sometimes gives people problems. We talked about it in lesson 4. When you need to square something, squaring means to times it by itself. So this is a multiplying problem. We cannot distribute powers. So we have to multiply the binomial by itself. 5 times 5x gives me 25x squared. 5x times negative 2 gives me negative 10x. And now I can switch to distributing the negative 2. That's another negative 10x. And my last term is going to be a positive 4. We need to combine a couple of terms to get our final answer in standard form. 25x squared minus 20x plus 4. All right, the last problem F right here is a subtraction problem. Subtraction works the same as addition. We just need to make sure we apply that subtraction to each of the terms. So it's not just a negative 3x squared. It's also going to be a negative 2x when we apply that subtraction. And when we subtract a negative 1, that becomes adding on the end. So now we can combine our like terms. The only term with a power 2 is this one, so negative 3x squared appears in our answer. I've got a 4x and a negative 2x, and that combines to give me a positive 2x. And then finally, I've got a 7 and a positive 1 for a total of 8. So our final answer there would be negative 3x squared plus 2x plus 8. Okay, I have one last problem I want to show you. It has to do with creating a little shape here. So it says a rectangle has a length of 3x and a width of 3x plus 1, and a width of x minus 7. We're going to create a polynomial in standard form for perimeter and another one for area. And it also says right here to draw a diagram. So I've got my rectangle here. It has a length of 3x plus 1 and a width of x. The word width was in my head, so I drew a W. A width of x minus 7. Okay, well, you know how rectangles work, so you know that this side would also be x minus 7, and this side would also be 3x plus 1. All right, so perimeter. Hopefully you recall perimeter is when we add all the sides of the shape together. So for this rectangle, if we add up all the sides, and it's not necessary to write this out, but if we add up all the sides, it's a 3x plus 1 plus an x minus 7 plus a 3x plus 1 plus an x plus 7. And again, you probably don't need to write that because you can see it on my shape over here. So if we add all of those together, we've got a 3x and another x. For a 4x so far, another 3x gives us to 7, and another x gets us to a total of 8x. So we just combined up all of those linear terms that have an x in them. And now we need to think about our constants. We've got a 1, a negative 7, a 1, and a negative 7. There we go. So when we add those together, those constants, we get negative 12. So the perimeter of our shape, an expression for that perimeter, would be 8x minus 12. Well, for area, the way that we find the area of a rectangle is length multiplied by width. So in this case, the length of my rectangle is 3x plus 1, and the width of my rectangle is x minus 7. So to find the area in standard form, we need to multiply those together. So we get 3x squared. 3x times x is 3x squared. 3x times negative 7 is negative 21x. And now I'm going to distribute the 1, so that's a 1x. And a negative 7. Hey, look, I did it right that time. Okay, so when we combine those two middle terms that are alike, we get 3x squared minus 20x minus 7, and that is an expression for the area of the rectangle. All right, so that is review video number 4. So your test will be next time. This is our review day, so the test day comes next. Don't worry if, do your best to prepare, and don't stress out or worry about it though, because, if you don't understand something or if you're still not getting it, we will continue to work with you. So just do your best. This review is due in class on test day. Thanks a lot.